Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex. Yet again, this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Rob Liefeld Day. It is Thursday, so we are looking at the next issue in his New Mutants run, namely issue 88, cover dated April 1990. First off, looking at the cover, this is that run of covers that McFarlane was inking. I don't know if these were done in, sequentially or out of sequence, but there's varying levels of McFarlane to be found in the covers. So I thought the first one on, I believe, issue 85, 86, something like that, those first few covers were pretty close to what Liefeld laid down. McFarlane wasn't pushing his style too much. Last issue cover of the cover of issue 87 with Cable, the classic cover that we know of his introduction, I did feel a bit more of the McFarlane there, which helped create, I think, a bit of volume and more of a 3D kind of effect with Liefeld's characters. When I look at this cover, I almost feel like it was done before that one, because we're kind of going back to just almost purely Liefeld here. I don't feel a lot of McFarlane, a little bit here and there, and some of the detail maybe on the hand and on the face here, where I feel that maybe Liefeld hadn't quite detailed Pyro here as much as the other characters on the cover, so McFarlane had a bit more license there. But overall, it feels very much like Liefeld. Looks good overall. I definitely think McFarlane is a better inker than most of the inkers they were putting on Liefeld in and around this time, and we'll see an example of that within the comic of another inker that I think works in some instances and not so much in others. So this is Cable's apparently officially second appearance. Let's crack her open and have a look inside. So if you remember from last issue, Cable has been imprisoned by the Mutant Liberation Front. So looking here already, I feel that whoever's inking is pretty close to what Liefeld is laying down, right? Not necessarily trying to change it too much into like a Marvel House style, but the lines are still fairly thick and not what we're going to get used to later on with Liefeld inking himself. And, the classic Hunt 102 is what they used. Some very fine lines. So those lines will thin out a little bit once Liefeld starts inking himself, but there'll be more of them. But overall, I think it's pretty true to what Liefeld's probably laying down there. There's just some places where I feel it looks a little odd. Like this would be one of them here where just, the thickness of maybe these lines just is not jiving with what I know of Rob Liefeld. You know what I mean? Down here, though, I would definitely think and agree that all of this stuff works. It's got kind of an Art Adams feel, I guess, to it, or how someone would ink Art Adams. And I definitely think it works. Just as I said, sometimes some of the lines are maybe just thicker than we're used to seeing on Rob Liefeld. Real quick with the credits, Louis Simonson is credited as the writer, Rob Liefeld, penciler, Hilary Barta is the inker, Joe Rosen's letterer, and Glynis Oliver is the colorist. So as we go through here, do want to mention, Liefeld, there's some stuff that's kind of disappeared from his artwork. Like, there's just something about this face that I think is great, right? That totally works. And we don't get to see much of that from Liefeld anymore. I do think his foreshortening here is pretty good overall, where sometimes it doesn't always hit the mark. All of these Cable shots are cool. This kind of slightly Jim Lee-ish kind of look here. Something about the hand here that's a little funny to me. But that still works. I don't know if it's a McFarlaneism or there's just something funny with this hand, but I like it. But it looks a little bit cartoony or a little bit odd. There's something going on there. But I like this panel. This checkerboard kind of background texture, that Liefeld's starting to use heavily, I guess. Maybe a little bit before this issue, but I'm seeing clear signs of that here, right? I used that so much when I didn't want to draw backgrounds when I was a kid, and I would, draw, my version of a pinup. I'd just throw a bit of that in there, and instant background without having to draw much. Liefeld's still drawing, fairly accurate buildings here to a certain extent. Backgrounds overall, there's lots of backgrounds in these New Mutants issues. Even here, with this huge shot, awesome shot of Archangel here, that really works. We still get enough buildings here and there, I think, that fill the page nicely, fill it up. So we've got X Factor here, or the original X-Men, basically. And all of this does look very Liefeld to me. Once again, that checkerboard pattern, we're going to see a lot of it here. Some of these, are hit or miss. This is just inconsistency in the style, I feel like. Not that this doesn't work, but it just doesn't feel consistent with what Rob Liefeld usually does. I actually like this panel here, and this angle and everything. Something funny about it, cartoony a little bit, but I think it works. And this issue basically is just about Cable being imprisoned and then escaping, right? So that's what we're getting here. I love this shot as an artist just because, like, how quick was it to draw this, right? These vertical panels, what I'm noticing is, you know, you got to be smart in that you got to leave just enough information so we understand what's going on. I mean, there's enough here where we can understand this leg is in the foreground, this one's in the background, right? Not the best, but I mean, we understand Cable's running towards us, and he's obviously laid someone out here. And just so much of, you know, it's important how much you leave in so we understand what that is and what's going on. But how much you can leave out and just move on to the next drawing is great as well, you know? I think that's one of the advantages of the vertical panels when you're on a deadline and stuff. Is you can make a fairly cool looking panel and cut off a lot of elements that you don't feel like drawing or that are going to take time to draw. Again, though, you have to be really smart about what you're actually putting within the frame. So I find like these pages here, just some primo Rob Liefeld stuff here, because we're still getting like, you know, body language, you know, they're doing stuff, you know, they're cold, like things are, how can I put it? I don't want to say obvious, right? But you do sometimes when you're drawing have to use that body language to make the reader understand very clearly and not be confused as to what's going on. And I think Liefeld's doing a much better job some of these older comics like this issue that he would now, right? We're still getting that checkerboard in the back there. I think this is great, right? Just enough backgrounds and stuff. I think that's a great just kind of storytelling panel. Cyclops kind of freaking out a little bit here. All of these are really great and not stuff I see much of from Rob Liefeld, like in modern stuff that he's doing, right? Always thought Liefeld was pretty good at doing that down shot, you know, with the characters. Does it a lot, does it again here. And again, I've mentioned how much I've always really enjoyed double page splashes with inset panels, right? So, you know, it's a double page splash. You get the big kind of, you know, moment here, which is pretty well done, I think. But then you get a bit of storytelling and not just a pinup with these little bits here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's still 7 panels across the 2 pages. Clear storytelling. Yeah. Good stuff from Liefeld. And the moment of escape. Mystique Cable out of here. He took out Pyro. He's got a gun. Not quite sure where it came from. Was it just sitting on the grass there? It's very odd. Did I miss something? Nope. Some Rob Liefeld storytelling. And off he goes. Once again, vertical panels. Just enough information. These are pretty cool. I feel like he saw McFarlane do this somewhere, because McFarlane has done this a bunch of times. I'm not sure if he did it in Amazing Spider-Man, but definitely in Spider-Man, where the phone cord is the border of the panel. Now, for anyone young enough to not remember these, when phones were still plugged into the wall and were not wireless, there was a cord, you know, that actually went to the phone. You had to kind of, you know, you couldn't get too far away from the phone when you were talking on the phone. You can get cord extensions, you know, teenage girls in the 80s often had that, so where you can stretch it out and bring it to other rooms and stuff. But nope, no wireless phones. Not back then. Always wondered where this came from. I remember seeing this in like a Wizard issue or something, and I never knew which issue it was from until obviously I picked up this issue. Similar comment I'm going to make to what I said about Dale Keane in yesterday's episode, where, you know, these guys are still young, eager artists, eager to please the editors, I'm assuming. So they're still doing a lot of storytelling, right, in their art. That'll kind of slowly kind of go by the wayside. By the time you get to X-Force, noticeably not as many panels per page, which is fine because I still love X-Force. Those early issues, still enjoy them a lot. But you can see Rob Liefeld gaining confidence and just kind of eventually, slowly but surely, doing what he wants, which is fine if you're in that position. I'm certainly not going to slag on him for that. But here, definitely getting some more examples of you know, Marvel House style storytelling once again. A much higher panel count per page. Again, one of those characters standing around down shots that Liefeld, I think, does so well. And I do want to mention just this here again, another kind of pose where like I don't see Liefeld doing this. I think the body language is really good on Boom Boom here, the arch of her back and stuff, and just kind of a gymnast's pose, I guess, but like really well done. I don't see him doing that kind of stuff anymore. Always liked the Blob when I gotta say when Rob Liefeld did him. No one else really made him cool. Rob Liefeld made the Blob cool. It's the only artist who ever made him look cool. Disagree with me if you want, but I would give credit to Liefeld on that one. Yeah, the way he drew his big face and his body even bigger and exaggerated, like it totally works for me. This guy, what's with this like costume? Is just a guy wearing an aviator's goggle helmet thing? It's, yeah, very generic. Do like, again, I don't see Liefeld doing this either anymore, kind of a lighting effect, almost like they're looking at the screen, right? That's the idea here. So you get kind of a backlit kind of thing here and here. Works really well, I think. Maybe a bit more Frank Miller kind of look there. But, I don't see him doing much of that anymore, and he does it really well here. I think it works. I think it works well. Again, in this panel. You can still see a lot of the Art Adams influence too, right? That one New Mutants annual he did, like, Rob Liefeld just carried around with him, I think, when he was drawing New Mutants. Simple things too sometimes. Once again, just this one of these vertical panels, right? Just enough information, great pose on cable, tilted horizon line to make it dynamic. Don't have to draw the rest of the arm, we get it, right? And this makes it a dynamic panel that you can get through drawing pretty quickly. You've got the three planes, so you've got the helicopter in the background, you've got cable in the middle ground, and you've got, I love this foreshortened blob arm here, I think is great. And just the way it's framed and stuff, just that's very good there. I really like that. So we've got, we've even got 4 basic planes in here to create that sense of depth, right? So we can say, the 4 arms closest to us, then cable, then the helicopter, and then even the trees there. So he's working in 4 planes. Good job, as much as, again, Rob Liefeld hasn't, been shit on about not doing backgrounds. I think this is like a perfect, awesome panel for all of that and great backgrounds. And of course, to be continued next issue, as it goes with regular monthly comics, double zap your zits. All right. So there you go, New Mutants, issue 88. Any thoughts or comments about it, let me know below. Please like and subscribe. That helps us make more videos and keep them coming. And I just want to thank everyone who's watched up to this point. Thank you for subscribing. We are on the road to 250 subscribers. That'll be the next milestone, and I'll have something special for you once we hit it. So 250 is what I'm looking for. Tell your friends, y'all. Everyone out there, please have an awesome and great day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13. 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.